It's April, which means it's time to fill in our March temperatures for our daily temperature stitch along. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Sunday Stitches. If you're new to the channel, my name is Lauren. I'm the fiber artist, quilter, and designer behind Garden Girl Studio. And today we're going to be filling in our temperatures for March with our stitch along. If you're new to the project, it's super easy to catch up. I have the template and the temperature color chart for you to fill in available on my website. I'll link it in the description below. To recap quickly, if you're new to the project, basically we assign temperatures to floss colors and then we're going to stitch them into our project. This year I'm tracking both the high daily temperature and the low daily temperature. Each month I record or go look up all the temperatures from every day, and then once a month we come and we meet here and we stitch it together. This month was particularly wild here in New York. We had a huge variety of temperatures. We had temperatures as high as 76 degrees and as low as 3 degrees. That's a huge swing, which means we're going to be using a record-breaking number of colors that we've ever used for this project, at least here in New York. Now, your temperatures might vary. They're most likely going to vary. They're going to be different, but we're going to be stitching today with a whole bunch of colors. So we're going to be stitching our lavender, our light blue, our dark blue, our mauve pink, our dark pink, salmon, and orange. And for the low end, we're also going to have light green, dark green, and more lavender, dark blue, light blue, and mauve. One of the ways that I make this project a little bit more efficient as I'm working is I pre-thread all of my needles. Honestly, I think threading the needle is what slows down this type of a project, so I pre-thread them, friends. So I highly recommend it. Little tip for me to use so that when you're starting to stitch all of your dashes for your high temperatures or your French knots for your low temperatures, when you're done with that set of temperatures and that set of color dashes or knots, you can just tie off a knot and then just grab your next needle without having to slow down and break your rhythm. You can just go ahead and keep on stitching. So without further ado, let's dive in. If you want to catch up from all the previous months, I'm also going to be dropping a playlist below along with links to all my favorite tools that I'm using on this project. So let's start stitching. We're going to start off with our dashes for all of our high temperatures. So we're going to use the dashes for all of our high temperatures, and I'm going to primarily focus on this section right here. We're going to be filling in all 31 dashes for March. I'm not going to worry about what order the colors come in. I'm just going to be focusing on the number that I need to fill in, and because the temperatures were honestly so scattered this month anyway, we're just going to be kind of filling in as we go. So we're going to start off with 10 lavender dashes, and then we're going to fill in the rest from there. And just a reminder that we're using all 6 strands for our dashes. Now it's time to add all of our French knots to represent our daily low temperatures. We're going to be filling them in between our dashes. We're just using 3 substrands of our 6-strand floss. And I think I did 3 loops around the needle, 2 to 3, something along those lines. And we're going to go ahead and fill in all of our low temperatures. Okay, we finished all of our French knots, so now we need to do the next line on our tree trunk. With this, I'm choosing the color that was the most prevalent for our high daily temperatures. We're going to be using lavender this month to stitch our trunk line. If you had a different highest temperature color, then use your color to stitch your lines. I'm using a whipped back stitch because it's my favorite for curved lines, but feel free to use whichever stitch you like. And I'm using 3 strands. And lastly, we need to fill in our little garden underneath. This month we're filling in 3 woven wheels to represent our colors. What's complicated about this month is we have so many colors. Generally, I kind of stick with my high colors. We have 3 circles. We could add more, but that's just an awful lot. So if you have 3 colors or 2 colors or 4 colors, you know, you can just pick the top ones to be your 3 woven wheels. That's what I'm probably going to do in this case. I'm going to choose my lavender, my mauve. We have a tie between dark blue and salmon, but because we had so many dark blue lows, I'll probably just do dark blue. Now, the other option would be, if we want to use all of these colors, we could actually put French knots in the center of our woven wheels. So basically, the way that would work would be we would draw a second circle in the center where we would want to congregate our knots, and then we would draw our lines coming from that center circle and then weave just on the outside. I think that this is just a lot of colors. So we're going to choose the 3 highest colors, and we're going to actually just do our wheel traditionally, where we're drawing our spokes all the way to the center to make our rosettes. So I'm using, again, a Frixion pen. It's upside down, Frixion pen. This is heat erasable to draw on these lines so that we have the spokes for our wheels. And I'm just choosing the 3 most prevalent colors from this month, which are going to be lavender, mauve, and dark blue. To do a woven wheel, it's pretty simple. We're going to start by, I load up all 6 strands. So this is a full strand of floss here. And we're going to start by stitching our spokes. So you're going to start at the outside of your circle and stitch back to the center, outside of the circle, stitch back to center. And you're going to do this for all 5 spokes on your wheel. And now you're going to bring your needle up near the center of your spokes, and you're just going to weave under every other floss. So under every other spoke. So we'll start by going under this first strand, skip 1 and go under, skip 1 and go under, all the way around. And you're just going to keep going around and around. We're not actually going through the fabric. We're just weaving over the top of the fabric under the spokes. Okay, when you get to the end, I always like to take a couple extra stitches actually through the fabric just to cover up any edges. There we go, just to smooth things out. You're going to go ahead and do this for your other 2 colors and your other 2 wheels. We did it. We just added all of March's temperatures to our daily temperature stitch along. It is getting so colorful. Let me know if your project is getting as colorful as mine. Do you have such a broad range of temperatures, or is it just me here in New York with like such an extreme temperature range? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how you're doing on your project. If you have any questions, also drop those below. I'm happy to help any way I can. I have had so much fun stitching this with you all. Be sure to stay tuned for even more Sunday Stitches videos. And during the week, we'll also be adding some Garden Dad videos. So we've got more of those coming soon if you like gardening. So thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, friends, happy stitching.